Mason next to him, and Sam Cork, the other of the privateers, next to him as well, Jono. So you've got a whole raft of them down there, boy.
Yeah, you're just making me busy, aren't you, Keith? But I like it indeed. Yes, I am with John Kirkman. It's a fair point you make about sponsorship. We were just saying a bit of a struggle at the beginning of the year, but you're doing your bit, which is getting some good qualifying.
Yeah, we've qualified better than we did last year. We're 9th on the grid, and I finished 8th in the first race. That was equal to my best finish last year. So it's going good already. We've not done any winter testing. The first time out on the bike was actually at Silverstone. So it's just, we're really struggling for cash at the moment and just need to get some sponsorship in.
Right, you need to beat that man in front of you, obviously a factory man, Gary Mason, but also Sam Cork.
Yeah, that's it. Hopefully I can win this one.
All right, well, best of luck to you. Let's move across and talk to Gary Mason. Great start in race one, and well, whatever problems you've got, we were talking to Rob Mack about them, you're riding random.
Yeah, well, definitely. I mean, the one thing, the old girl hooks off the old grid, definitely, because we had some good starts at Silverstone as well. So now I was like, woo! Now,
so are we.
Yeah, no, but it is frustrating with the problems, because we know obviously this bike, when we get it right, it is going to be absolutely awesome. And that's what we're working at, really, but sadly we're doing it every time we go out.
You've got a little bit of time, maybe a little bit of testing before Snetterton?
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, Rob's trying to do a programme now, but it's like we say, it's fitting everything in, especially when you've got bikes to build and engines to build. And I mean, well, no doubt, I mean, Rob will do whatever it takes to get these bikes winning races, and obviously that's what I really want to be doing, you know. I just feel like at the minute I've got to, you know, I'm just going as well as I can on the package, and this package will be fantastic when we've sorted it.
We'll go well here at Brands in the sunshine. Best of luck to Gary Mason, watch out for him. Let's see if we can catch up with Glenn Richards. As you know, he went off very nastily in race one, but I'm glad to say maybe the leathers are a bit scuffed up, but he's back here for race two. And Glenn, big off, how are you?
I'm very, very sore. I've got a sore behind, so
what happens when Sean Emmett attacks you from behind?
Oh, well, no, well, his bike, he fell off the side of it, and his bike just appeared in front of me, and I had nowhere to go, unfortunately. So, but I have landed very heavily on my back, and so I'm struggling. I'll just have to see how I go. We'll do a few laps, and if I can do it, I'll stay out there and try and get some points.
Well, Scott showed you that the pace is good enough and that the Hawk can be up there, right?
Yeah, for sure. I think the bike's good enough to push up to the front, and I'm just not sure whether I'm going to be.
All right, well, listen, best of luck. Obviously a little bit sore at the moment is Glenn, but he'll give it his best, I'm sure. Let's talk to Dean Thomas. We spoke to Enzo, your team manager, and Dean, obviously a good qualifying for here, and the bike obviously going well at times.
Yeah, it's a fantastic motorbike. You know, it's Tasman's bikes from last year. We got the gear. Just a bit unlucky in the first race. Bit of a hiccup with the tyre, and just caught me out 5 laps to go. What can you do?
What about today? What about changes for race two? It's got a little bit hotter. Have you made any changes?
Yeah, I've made a different change. Run a different tyre. Most of the front guys have run it in the first race. We haven't tested it yet, but I mean, you know, it's obviously worked for them, so it should work for us.
All right, best of luck to you, Dean Thomas. I just want a quick word, if I can. Come with me a sec. We spoke to Glenn, but I obviously very impressed with Scott Smart's ride because, well, for a moment there we thought he was going to go one better, but I wonder if you've made any changes with this heat for race two after a great display in race one.
Yeah, I've made a few little changes to the bike, tyre pressures, a little bit of a suspension change, because the bike went away quite heavily toward, well, for the last 5 laps. It was as much as I could do to keep Kageyama in sight, but it would have been great to have got a podium. Just desperately want a podium to say thanks to Stuart Hicken and all my sponsors, and Tony Weaver, who's sponsored me for years. It would have done them all proud.
I know we've said this all along, but you were fighting against basically 2 factory machines, so it would be a heck of an achievement if you get anywhere near a podium.
Yeah, but that's what we're here for, isn't it? We're not playing to be Fulton fits. We're playing to try and win the races, and I'm sure Glenn's just told you the same. And so now Glenn and I get on really well, but there's a massive amount of rivalry right now because we both desperately want to be on the podiums and try and get race wins before the other one does.
All right, well, we won't want to get in the way of that. Best of luck to Scott Smart, and let's move to the front row and let's have a quick chat with some of the boys up here. And Carl Harris is on the front row, Yukio's here, John Reynolds is also here. Let's see how he's getting on. Any changes, John?
No, none whatsoever, Jonathan. No, we're just going to run with what we had this morning.
Exactly the same.
Exactly the same.
Sun's changed, comes a little bit hotter now, no difference?
Yeah, I can feel it burning on the back of my neck. Yeah, it's great, isn't it? No, it's we're just hoping and praying now that, you know, I think everybody's pretty much on the same tyres we ran this morning, so we'll see. All
right, fair enough. Well, listen, best of luck to you, and obviously John looking to hold on to that championship lead. Sean Emmett wanting to change all that, and he's on pole, and obviously a little bit bruised. And first of all, how's your arm?
Yeah, pretty sore, and fingers are swollen up, so yeah, not ideal, but that's the way it goes sometimes.
What happened? We've talked to everybody about it except you.
Yeah, just had a slide at the bottom of Paddock Hill and just lost my footing a bit and started to go across the track. It wasn't really a big drama, and then I I think Glenn had nowhere to go and just launched into the back of me, so yeah, it's unfortunate.
Same setting for this race?
Yeah, different bike though, so but we should be alright, hopefully.
All right, best of luck to Sean Emmett. As you can see there, that's the feelings on the grid at the moment. As I mentioned before, and several times even, that it's getting a little bit hotter here, and I wonder just how long the tyres will last this afternoon. Keith, any thoughts?
Be it British Superbike
what's all that about, Shaky?
I don't know. Michael's just seeing
looks
how
like
far he can lean his Honda over, I reckon. He wants to lean it further than that in the race, but he'll get nowhere.
You can always expect a quip or two from you, can't you? So Sean Emmett rolls to the front. I don't know whether he had anything in his belly pan that he was trying to tip out. I wouldn't have thought he would have been too popular if he had been, but slightly nervy situation. Well, somebody said he's trying to get some oil on the clutch. Obviously, the clutch situation is their main problem. Maybe he's trying to lubricate that as much as he can, flood the clutch up with oil. I don't know how that Honda works. We're going to find out whether it works right now, because we're under orders for race 2 of the Thing 2004 British Superbike. It didn't work at all. So it was Rutter who went straight up in the air, but Kianari's clutch worked all right, and he didn't tip the bike over. He's in 3rd place at the minute. But what a great start for the Rizzler Suzuki again. Reynolds out front. No, it's not what I'm talking about. Yukio Kagayama, thank you, Yukio. Yukio Kagayama from Sean Emmett. 3rd place is Kianari, 4th place is Dean Thomas, 5th place is Scott Smart. Scott Smart dives under Dean Thomas, down into Graham Hill. What a great move again. He has been the best man down Graham Hill bend as that man Scott Smart. There he is, just in front of Dean Thomas now. Then it looked like Gary Mason that was there as well, back in 6th place at the moment. So we're at Clark Curve. All over the rear end of Yukio Kagayama is Sean Emmett, looking for no mistakes in this particular... Oh, look at the drive. Just look at the drive of that Ducati. Up the inside of Yukio into the braking area at Paddock. The Suzuki looks quicker, but it's going to be Sean Emmett on the brakes at Paddock Hill Bend. What a classy move. Let's hope he stays on the bike here this time round. Still it off, but it's grinding out there. You see it touching the ground. I don't know whether that was his boot or what it was. It would have been the side of the fairing, I expect. Remember, this is his spare bike, in the number 1 bike that he qualified on, the one that he enjoyed the most, because he wrecked it in race 1. Emmett leads, Yukio 2nd, Scott Smart a superb 3rd on the Hawk Kawasaki. 5th is the Enza Ducati, the Sendo sponsored the Enza Ducati of Dean Thomas.
Michael Rutter didn't make a good start back in 7th, but John Reynolds is back in 9th.
Yeah, well, I didn't see what happened to JR. I thought it was JR that made it off the front, but it wasn't. It was Kagayama that got out the front. We saw Michael Rutter just launch that motorcycle. It pulled a bit of a wheelie, so Rutter's efforts to try and get the Honda off the line didn't work. Kianari certainly did. He's in 4th place at the moment. This is a much better showing. Kianari backs it in 4th place into Paddock Hill Bend, being chased by Dean Thomas. And then it looks like one of the Yamahas.
That's Michael.
It's Michael. You're right. Thank you, Shaky. Thanks. We've got, of course... reigning British Superbike champion Shane Shaky Byrne here with us at the moment. Shane, that was a great start.
It was, certainly was, yeah. I mean, just listen to your comments about Sean and Scott Smart down into Bottom Bend yesterday. Both of them were by far the fastest people around there, and you know, both of them, Scott's running 3rd at the moment, and Sean's up there leading it, so good.
Look at Michael though, carrying such a lot of speed into Clark Curve at the moment. He'll be looking to try and squeeze up the inside of Dean if he can make it. Dean Thomas then under a little bit of pressure, but cuts it across for the line. Now the power of the Honda comes online, and it's up the inside into Paddock Hill Bend. Number 3 on the HM Plant Honda, the HRC full factory backed HM Plant Honda goes in front of Dean Thomas on the Sendo Ducati. Whoa, here comes JR. Well, he was for a moment, he was eclipsed. Quite literally, we can hardly see the blue Rizzler Suzuki of JR making up from a lousy start. This championship is going to be so close when we leave Bransfield.
It's unreal, and Sean Emmett already in lap 3 has put a quicker lap in than the whole of the first race. He's just done a 46.491.
What? 46.491. Now, I know you're going to remember what your lap times were around here, Shaky, because riders always do. How's that compare?
You're absolutely joking. I've not got a clue how far. I don't even know what tyres I use here, let alone what lap time I've done.
JR's got a lap record, and I think it's 46.1.
Shaky, you've got so much to learn with the Aprilia. Here comes Reynolds up underneath Dean Thomas, and Dean Thomas loses a place to the hard-charging John Reynolds. Well, I've already questioned Neil Mackenzie during the break about who his rider of the day is going to be. He's got a couple of contenders. He might have another one come this race, because really JR's done it the hard way, unless you penalise him for fluffing the start, Neil.
Well, this is just going to see exactly what JR had left in the first race. He controlled the first race at the beginning, and now he's at the bad start, so he has to dig in. He's actually behind Michael Rutter at the moment, so we'll just have to watch if these two can make some progress through the field.
Of course, in race 1 he managed to make it nice and smooth from the front, but he'll be using up tyre trying to get past this lot now over the 30 laps. We're looking at Kianari and Rutter, the HM Plant HRC back Hondas, and look at that lovely line from Michael Rudder. He's got great style, and he just gets it, drives it straight under Chianari up towards Paddock Hill Bend. There'll be no response at all from Chianari because Rudder is the master around here. You only got to remember back to World Superbike days. Michael Rudder has always been a class act round brands. Remember what days when we used to say, or the media used to say in general, that Michael Rudder could only ride fast in the rain? What a changed man he is, Shaky.
And do I wind him up about it as well?
I'll bet.
No, he's a fantastic rider now. He's one of the smoothest riders out there, and he's a real clever guy, you know. Only Michael would think of tipping his bike over a little bit to try and get some oil around the clutch. It's just the way he is, you know. Any little...
Oh, let's go off track then. We've come over all agricultural at Clark Curve. That would have really wiped those tyres a little bit. So Scott Smart and Yukio Kagayama, God dear me. Well, Smarty is green as round the outside. What a race we've got.
Don't get any closer than that.
It don't get any closer than that at all. This is British Superbike racing, surely at its very, very best. A mistake then from Scott Smart and Yukio Kagayama. I don't know whose fault it was, but really Paul Denning has just walked into our position here at the moment. And I've got to ask you, Paul Denning, you just caught that in its closing stages. What did you make of it?
I really can't make any comment whatsoever. I was just almost breathless when Yuki there, you can see it on the replay, he's gone up the inside on the Rizzle Suzuki of Scott. That is a brave move. He said he was scared of passing anyone anywhere around this Indy track, and he tried to do it in a place that needs the biggest testicles of anywhere, and he didn't quite pull it off, but he's still on the back of Chianari and Smart and having a go. That's allowed John to get clear, and that's going to put John into third place and chase Michael, but unless they can do something very special, then young Sean is gone.
Well, I think it's a mark of this particular racing situation here at Brands Hatch that our commentary position is full of superstars, keeping an eye on the monitors here, and we're not being disappointed by JR. Well, being let off a bit on bike number 2 there. 23 is Chianari. Chianari's got the hard charging Scott Smart behind him, and the even harder charging Yukio Kagayama that's drifting. Now watch Scott Smart down here. How good is he on the brakes down Graham Hill? Absolutely superb, and somehow he still manages to get it lined up so he can get it absolutely flat along the Cooper Straight. Not that there's much of a straight there, Neil.
Not at all, but unbelievable. Scott Smart's definitely the strongest part of the track for him. Is down into Graham Hill Bend there, and he's made good progress. I don't think that was his fault coming into Surtees. Yukio had a bit of a look up the inside, but incredible how they got across the grass and still stayed on, got some grip, got back onto track. Didn't really lose that much time.
Well, I think we're going to be talking about this race meeting for some time. Well, I asked Christopher Mullen when he sat in here on the Super Sports race, I said, you don't really want to be out there, do you? And I reckon Shaky Burns sitting in here as well was thinking something similar possibly. You'd rather have lunch with your mum, wouldn't you, than be out there now?
Well, yeah, to be fair, I mean, you wouldn't mind being in Sean's position right now, would you? I mean, it's not such a bad place to be, but in amongst that lot looks a bit treacherous to me.
We almost forgot about Sean Emmett, of course. Sean Emmett well out in front, 2.2 seconds is his lead at the moment over Michael Rutter in second place on bike number 3. John Reynolds has the fastest lap on lap 8, 46.345. That's a cracking time for a race tyre, there's no doubt about it. We're out clearways now. There is JR. You just know that JR is going to work and work and work and work to try and close in on Michael Rutter in second place. It's going to be a mark. He's 38 years old, John Reynolds, but no less motivated now than when he was 18. In fact, I would hazard a guess, probably more motivated, Paul Denning.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we struggled to do 46.6s and 46.7s, and we wondered if we could go any faster. And he's down to 46.3s, but in fairness to Michael, he's responded with a 46.3 as well, and the gap from Sean now to up to Michael Rutter on the Honda is only 1.8, and of course John's only a second off Michael and charging, so it could be a three-way race between the big title contenders that everyone thought was going to be for this second race winning.
Paul Denning then joining us here in the commentary position, the boss of Rizzler Suzuki. Has he got a lot on his plate this year? I don't envy his position, that's for sure. Up on the clearways we go then. Emmett is already at the flag. Emmett over the line now, onto Paddock Hill. Michael Rutter, slowly but surely. We're only on lap 10 of the 30, 1/3 distance so far. Shaky, what would you be doing if you had this lead at the moment? You've ridden this bike, you've ridden this circuit, you've won here. Sean Emmett, he's a bit bruised, he's a bit battered. He's responded in the best way possible. What would you be doing on that bike right now?
To be fair, I'll be doing exactly what Sean was, or I'd hope to be. You know, he's out the front there, and his gap's coming down ever so slightly. He's coming another 2 tenths off this time, but last thing he wants to do now is drive himself mad and start panicking and you know, make himself having little mistakes. But to be fair, Sean's, you know, he's been around a long time. He knows what he's doing. He's out there at the front, and you know, if that gap comes down to anywhere within inside of a second, then I'm sure he'll start panicking a little bit or trying to respond. But at the moment, he's doing fine.
I would hazard a guess that Sean Emmett, even winning this second race, is not going to satisfy him as far as today is concerned. He's bitterly disappointed at that dump he had in race number 1. So Sean Emmett, the least he can do in his mind will be win this race and grab 25 points. Through goes Rutter on bike 3. That's John Reynolds on bike number 2, the Rizzler Suzuki. closing. Got to keep an eye on that split time. 1.6 seconds Emmett over Rutter at the moment. It's come down from 2.2. And then further back, the next split, 0.7 of a second from Rutter to Reynolds as they crossed the finish line just a little while ago. We have the privilege, of course, of MST timing here, and that keeps us straight. So, Scott Smart still in 4th place. Ryoichi Kiyanari, the young Japanese, in 5th place on bike 23. Kagayama on 71 in 6th place. I think the pace has really hotted up. Glenn Richards damaged from race 1. That accident he had with Sean Emmett on bike 75. He's in 7th place. And Dean Thomas on bike number 12 has slipped back to 8th place. Gary Mason is 9th. And Tommy Hill is in 10th place. That's your top 10 at the moment. But still leading, Sean Emmett. Let's have a look at that gap. It's down to 1.4 seconds now between Emmett and Rutter. Rutter on the Honda is closing on Emmett. 0.6 of a second further back is Reynolds. Reynolds is closing on Rutter. Rutter is closing on Emmett. This is going to be a grandstand. We're only on lap 13 of the 30 laps. Plenty of time if they carry on the way they're going to close in on Sean Emmett at the front. And they are consistently faster than Emmett at the moment. Shaky.
I'd say, it's obvious to see now. You can see it visually. John's caught Michael a lot quicker than the pair of them catching Sean. And I'm sure that John's not going to be hanging around to sit behind Michael. Michael's taking him there. I think he's going to be looking to put a move on Michael fairly soon, and perhaps drag the pair of them up to Sean and turn it into the freeway battle that you're talking about. And the way he's going, I can see it happening fairly quickly.
Lap 14 of 30 laps. The lap just clicked by so quickly here. We are doing 46.6 second laps basically. They were down to 45s in qualifying, and John just lining up the rear end out of Druids. That's got so much horsepower trying to get through. A little bit of tyre that's touching the tarmac. And Emmett, Rutter, Reynolds are your top 3, we know about that. Smarty is still in 4th place, Kiyanari 5th, Kagayama 6th. That's how it looks at the moment. Glenn Richards is 7th, Dean Thomas is 8th, Gary Mason 9th, Tommy Hill 10th. Sam Cork, the best of the privateers, just in front of his rival, John Kirkham. That's how it looks at the moment as they come to complete another lap. Over the line goes Sean Emmett. What's the gap going to be this time round? 1.4 seconds, still the same. Emmett is controlling it from the front, but it's down to half a second between Reynolds and Rutter. Reynolds is closing in on Rutter, but this time Rutter hasn't closed down Emmett, Neil.
JR, if you just watch the rear of JR's bike, you can just see how hard he's working that rear tyre, squeezing that throttle, it's spinning up the big black lines, and that's really hard on that rear tyre. Honda Rutter just seems like a bit more stable, delivers the power a bit more smoothly, or just has a bit more traction. JR's working that rear quite hard, but if he can maintain this pace, the last few laps he's been a couple of tenths of a lap faster than Michael Rutter, pulling that gap back, but getting on his back wheel and passing him are two different things.
I tell you what, it looks to me like Sean Emmett has lost a little bit of time here. It's 1.4 seconds last time he crossed the line. What's it going to be this time? Over the line, it's down to under a second. Half a second he lost on that line. Shaky, did you see where he did it?
I didn't, to be fair. I was just going to say earlier on that he sort of responded. They both got down to 46.4s. Sean done 46.4 in the front, and JR and Michael did 46.4s as well. So it looked like he had the answer, and he was just controlling the race. But for some reason he lost half a second in that lap. And to be fair, it's such a short lap here that one tiny little mistake, just running wide or just hitting the curb or just doing something ever so slightly wrong here does make a big impact in your lap time.
Sean Emmett on the Monster Mob Ducati still leads. Thank you, Shaky Byrne. You've been in this position yourself before, and the man that's in 3rd position has been the guy that's generally been chasing you around the track. He does seem to be struggling a little bit with that rear end spinning up now. Maybe it's cost him dearly. He had a bit of difficulty on the opening lap, found himself with a lot of work to do. He's obviously put a lot of power through that rear tyre to get himself up here into 3rd place. I'm talking about that man, John Reynolds, and I think that basically he's used up the useful part of the tyre. And we'll take a look at the rest of the riders as they're coming through. 46.7 was Emmett's time that time, 46.5 was Rutter's time. The gap is down to 0.7 of a second at the line, whereas the Rutter-Reynolds gap is still half a second. Scott Smart is a further 3 and a bit seconds back. And then it's Yukio Kagayama on bike 71 in 5th, Kiyanari in 6th, Richards in 7th, Thomas in 8th, Mason is 9th, and Sam Cork, the best of the Superbike Cup boys, is in 10th place overall, but leads the Superbike Cup Championship race that is within this Think 2004 British Superbike Series. Emmett over the line, we're on lap 17, soon to be on lap 18, we're on lap 18 now. Rutter.
We've got a bit more of a constant gap now, we're still at 0.7, exactly the same as last lap.
Look at this little lot then, Kagayama then, Kiyanari and Richards. So Yukio Kagayama has regained a bit of, well, shall we say, momentum after that slight mistake having him and Scott Smart up onto the grass stuff. So Yukio Kagayama, no doubt looking forward to going back to Japan tomorrow to see his newborn daughter, his second daughter, and I'm sure it's a mark of this man that he's had to put up with the kind of psychological problems, of course, that racing a different country without your family around you has, not to mention the disaster that happened to him last year and the loss of Didier Kato early on in the season. I think this is a wonderful fella, that's for sure. Yukio Kagayama battling through everything, but really he's lost the impetus as far as the podium's concerned today. All he can do is beat fellow Japanese Kiyonari on the HRC HM plant bike.
Gap at the front now is half a second between Sean Emmett and Michael Rutter.
What's happened here with Scott Smart? Scott Smart just going a bit off the pace, but these two are closing in on Sean Emmett now, absolutely, visibly. Only half a second between the two of them. Neil, I mean, you're a studier of form. You keep your eye absolutely on every single thing. Have you seen anything here that Sean Emmett is doing wrong, or is he just being reeled in?
Well, not really. He's not spinning up the rear. He's not having any problems. And all the way through practice, he looked like he was on rails. Of course, he didn't have the feedback from the first race. He only managed a few laps in the first race, so he doesn't have that under his belt. And of course, he's beat up a little bit as well. But these two behind him, they've got a big target. They can see him, and they're homing in.
JR has got a lot of work to do, but he's right on top of Michael Rutter. Again, you know this Suzuki intimately, as he's underneath him. Just as I was about to say, where is he going to be able to find the advantage? Well, it ain't a Druids, because he just run on a bit hot there, but he almost answered my question. Where is he going to be able to find advantage over Michael Rutter? He is like a terrier in a sack, isn't he, John Reynolds? He will not let go of anything.
I think, to be fair, you look at the three guys that are out there now, and you know, Sean is going to be more than up for a battle. If the guys catch up to him and it all turns into a little bit of a battle, then Sean is more than up for a battle, you know, as much as anybody. But the person that I'd say, if you ask me personally, who else, then you'd say John Reynolds. I mean, the guy just never, ever gives up. And I spent so much time last year thinking, clear up and leave me alone, just let me take this, please. And he just wouldn't have none of it. You know, he's so tenacious, keeps at it and at it.
Well, you heard it from the horse's mouth, so to speak, as they come up against Paul Jones and they get through that. It's a disaster for Jay. Paul Jones is going to balk him. Oh, I feel so sorry for John Reynolds. It happened to him at Silverstone. It happens here again now at Brands Hatch. Where is the blue flag? Why is Paul Jones? I have to make the question. I don't want to be hard on a backmarker. He's in the Privateer Cup race, but he's not racing with anybody. There are clear blue flags round here. Why didn't he see them? Why didn't he pull to one side? If he'd been racing with somebody, then I could have understood why there was a problem. The same again here. He should be made to go to the outside. I really believe there should be a briefing that straightens these guys out. Let's hear from Paul Denning. He's with me alongside me.
No, I'm the backmarker issue is always one, and the worst thing is, frankly, it spoiled the race for 25,000 people here at Brands Hatch today. But JR on the original Suzuki really was up on the back of Michael and looking for the win, and I think the best he can achieve now is get back to Michael in these last 8 laps and try and pass him. But the big problem is when he tries to pass, he has to push that rear tyre even harder on the corner exit, and he's really used the best of it. Dunlop have done some fantastic work this weekend with some new developing product. Michelin have responded, and it's going to be a real tyre war as well as a bike war this year. And you know, the original Suzuki won't use its tyre any worse or any better than the Ducati or the Honda, but John has been punishing it to come back from a really poor start, and you saw how much he's lighting it up. He also needs to learn to be a bit more patient and just wait until he can really get into the right part of the corner to let it rip. But we'll see what the old boy's got now, because it's what he's going to be made of now, because he really needs to do some good lap times. Michael's into 46.4 and John another poor lap, 47.1 with traffic, so it's going to be tough now, and it's going to be a question of riding it as hard as he can to the end.
John Reynolds then will have something to say, I'm sure, as far as backmarkers are concerned. We always knew it was going to be a problem here. In fact, I have to say, Neil Mackenzie, it's been less of a problem than I thought it would be, but it really has ruined JR's race. He'd done as much as he could do to chase Michael Rutter. Now it's up to Michael Rutter. The emphasis has changed completely within the space of a lap, hasn't it? Michael Rutter now is threatening Sean Emmett.
But this is the closest Michael's been to Sean Emmett, and this is where the fireworks will begin if he can get alongside him. Where he's going to pass him, I'm not quite sure, but Sean Emmett has led this race for the majority of the race. He wants to win it. He's not going to give it up that easily.
Okay, Shaky, from watching what's going on here, where would you say each of these motorcycles is strong? Have you spotted any particular area?
I just saw Sean on that last lap, interestingly enough, spinning it up quite a lot coming out of Druids, which is a bit strange really, because you know we've been watching him all race long, riding the bike like it's on rails, and you never really see Michael getting out of control, getting out of shape. You know, he's got the thing working real good. Sean's a lot cleaner through there that time. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, I'm sure Michael will be lining up a move, I reckon, into paddock, but Sean's one of the fastest people around paddock that you're going to ever have to pass, so it's going to be tricky.
Michael Rutter on the HM plant, HRC back, full factory Honda Fireblade is in second place at the moment, and after, well, that slight technical problem they have with the clutch at the start of these motorcycle races, he just fluffed the start very, very slightly. He's given himself a whole load of work to do, but he's coming to the shoulder now of race leader Sean Emmett. Emmett, of course, on his second motorcycle. The first one got wrecked in race 1 today when he fell off just here and was clouted by Glenn Richards going up the hill into Druids. There's Paul Bird off Monster Mob Ducati, and really this is going to be a nail-biting moment or two for him. We're on lap 25 of the 30. The times are in the 46s between both these men, so they are right on the very, very edge of the quickest time throughout the race. 46.3 has been the fastest lap of the race by Rutter on lap 9. 46.5 was Rutter's time on that last lap. So they really are hovering around a cracking pace. Emmett, Rutter, Reynolds, top 3. Smart, Kagayama, Kianari round out your top 6 leaderboard. But really all eyes focused here on this huge Brands Hatch crowd, on the battle between these two. It is a real war now. It is Dunlop versus Michelin. It is Ducati versus Honda. And really Emmett versus Rutter is going to bring our day of live bike racing here at Brands Hatch to an absolute climax. Can't wait. Lap 26 off 30. Where do you think the Honda's going to do it, Neil?
Well, it's so good out of clearways. It looks like it's on rails out there. It gets a bit of grip. Michael can turn it tighter in, whereas Sean Emmett, he's sliding around a little bit coming out of clearways, and he also has to pick it up to get over the bumps right on the apex, and that's where Michael can just carry a big arc all the way through there, get a good drive out of there, and he is strong into the paddock. Because he can get alongside Sean Emmett, there's a good chance of outbreaking him into paddock.
Two very, very skilled men. 33-year-old Sean Emmett in front of 30-year-old Michael Rutter across the line. Again, I'll tell you what, that big Ducati, it don't look slow along that front straight. It's getting the drive through clearways. It really is going to be a situation of who, as Neil Mackenzie has said, has managed to get clearways absolutely perfect. Indeed, it might even come down at the end of the day to just a very slight mistake from one of these two men, Shaky.
Yeah, I mean, that's always possible. It's one thing that, Michael will be sitting there now and be watching Sean, and he'll be working out where he's going to be stronger or where he could possibly put a pass on. And, sometimes things like that just happen. Somebody will run a little bit wide, and all of a sudden you have to take the initiative and nip through. But, yeah, I'm sure this is going to be where we're going to be looking to pass. We're going to see Michael line Sean up, try and get a good drive all the way through and up alongside into paddock.
So through clearways then onto the Brabham straight here at Brands Hatch. It is Sean Emmett again that just has the emphasis down that front straight if he can, but closing in as they come to Paddock Hill is Michael Rutter. It's Emmett, Rutter. Reynolds is still 3rd. Scott Smart still 4th. Yukio Kakayama 5th. Ryuichi Kianari is in 6th place. 7th is Glenn Richards. Dean Thomas is in 8th place. 9th is Gary Mason, and Tommy Hill is in 10th place. That's your top 10. We're on lap 28 of the 30 laps here. The second race at round 2. The Think 2004 British Superbike Championship. Sean Emmett leads from Michael Rutter, but a backmarker comes into view. This could be critical. I think they're going to catch him on the front straight, which will mean they'll get away with it. The first place you get it is just there. They might just have enough time to close in on the backmarker where it all counts. He might just see the blue flag, but I shouldn't hold your breath and count on it. And again, you saw Sean Emmett sitting up on that bike, trying to get the fat bit of the tyre stuck to the tarmac. Thank heavens for 17 moving out of the way there. And that's James Ellison on the Gen 10 Racing Yamaha. A mature rider that definitely knew what was going on. I mean mature by the fact of the way he acted rather than his age. Into Druids. Emmett under a lot of pressure now from Michael Rutter. Rutter applying the pressure as we come down Graham Hill. We're on lap 29 of the 30. Just a lap and a half to go as we come to the Cooper Straight. Through the Cooper Straight, a power wheelie from Sean Emmett there on bike 5. The Monster Mob man knows he has got the HRC man breathing right down his neck. What a great battle between these two. Oh, through clearways, that could be the mistake, I think, from Rutter. Did he run a little wide then? I think he did, coming through on the Clark curve. It is Emmett that has the emphasis coming onto the final lap. Can he hold on to it? A slight mistake from Emmett will let Rutter through, but I think Rutter made a mistake coming up onto clearways. Just a very, very slight mistake. Emmett down in the dip, up to Druids. Druids corner now. Through the right-hander. On the power, down the hill, Graham Hill bend, into the braking area now. Through the left-hander. Onto the Cooper Straight. Emmett, Emmett snaps it sideways, but it wasn't enough to cost him too much time. It will have cost him a little bit, but not enough, I believe. Up into Clark curve now. This is where Rutter made a slight mistake last time. No such mistake this time. Emmett has just got to hold his cool. He's run it a little bit wide. It'll be drive to the line. The Ducati has it. What a great race from Emmett and Rutter. Duking it out, dueling it out around Brands Hatch. The Indy circuit has been thrilled by a great race. That's Phil Borley, chief technician for Sean Emmett then, and Shaky Byrne before him, of course, who sits here with us. Well, Shaky, your comment regarding that race?
Yeah, absolutely spot on. I thought Michael was going to be real sneaky there and take it on the last lap. One thing was,
Superbike Championship race was won by Sean Emmett. Well, look at the distance between him and Michael Rutter. What a superb duel between those two. It was in the end Ducati versus Honda, and the Ducati came out on top. Third place man, the Rizla Suzuki of John Reynolds. Scott Smart on the Kawasaki. 4 different makes of motorcycle in the top 4 positions. What a great year. Kagayama 5th, Kiyonari 6th. Glenn Richards in 7th place, bearing in mind how hurt he is, and also a man who dumped it in race one I should say today, Dean Thomas finishing in 8th place. 9th, Gary Mason. He'll be a little disappointed with that, bearing in mind his form of race 1 today. Tommy Hill, he'll be reasonably happy with that considering he's injured. John Kirkham, best of the Superbike Cup in the end. The privateer getting the better in the end of Sam Cork, as Sam Cork fell off at Druids in the closing stages. So Sam Cork blotting his copybook here at Brands Hatch. Steve Plater only 12th, Kieran Clark 13th, 14th Dennis Hobbs, and James Buckingham picking up good privateer points there, and 15th overall. So it is John Reynolds then with a 1-point lead over Michael Rutter. Oh, this series is going to be stratospheric later on. Ryuichi Kiyonari is in 3rd place. Good solid ride from him here at Brands in the end. Sean Emmett in 4th place, back up to 4th I should say, from 6th earlier in the day. Scott Smart, Yukio Kagayama, Gary Mason and Dean Thomas.